has been on the program a number of times. Friend of BYU Sports Nation, college basketball stats guru Ken Pomeroy. Ken, how's your basketball consumption rate these days?
It's pretty healthy, fellas. Actually, just to give you an example, last night I closed the evening by watching Long Beach State at Hawaii, the live feed from the Hawaii website. So it was a 10 p.m. Mountain tip, and it was all I could do to not tweet to the world about a strategic blunder that Hawaii head coach Eran Ganot made at the end of the game. That's how plugged in I am right now.
That's pretty good. Big West hoops, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's legit. BYU certainly it's one of its best spots. It's been since Jimmer Fredette in 2011, all the way up to number 16 in Ken Pom right now. We always ask you this, but remind the people what goes into your ranking on kenpom.com.
Yeah, it's taking every team that's taking every team's offensive and defensive efficiency for the season. So the points they score per possession, points they allow per possession. We're removing the pace that they play at, so we're not getting influenced by just bulk points scored if they play at a fast pace or few points allowed if they play at a slow pace. And we are adjusting that for the strength of the competition, when the game was played, where the game was played, all that good stuff. There's a few other goodies there to try to handle runaway scoring margins and things like that, and just really get the essence of how good a team should be going forward.
So BYU up to 16. What have you noticed in terms of the difference from a BYU team in the last 4 years that hasn't made the NCAA tournament to one that will make the NCAA tournament this year?
Well, for the most part, it starts on the offensive end. Their offense has just been elite this year. I'm ranked 5th in the country in terms of adjusted offensive efficiency. And, that starts with really the three-point shooting, the shooting in general. Three-point shooting obviously tops in the country, but shooting in general has been great. Then they don't commit turnovers, and they just rely on those two things pretty much solely offensively, and it has worked out really, really well. The defense has been good. It's ranked 76. That's pretty much in line with if you look at like a 6-7 year average for the team past few years. Pretty normal, but the offense has really taken off and just been explosive.
Ken, when you look at the numbers, we're talking about all of the things that BYU is doing well. Where do the Cougars need to make an improvement to make this season a special one?
Well, I do think it's the defensive end. When you look at the games that they've struggled offensively, especially against quality opponents, and their schedule's been kind of weird because they haven't, there's this gap. They've either played, the best teams in the country, or then the next level is maybe a little bit further down. But when they have played the best teams in the country and they've struggled offensively, the defense hasn't really been able to keep them in games or allow them to win games. And that's really the issue. I always focus on the 2-point percentage defense because that's really how defense works. I think it's inside out. If you can't stop people at the rim or in the paint, then you don't really have much chance of being an elite defense. And that's where the Cougars have struggled. They're ranked 215th in the country right now in 2-point percentage defense, allowing 50.4% of 2-pointers to be made. And they'll have to get better at that. If they can improve that, then things get really exciting. Not that they aren't exciting right now, but that would be taking things to the next level.
5 games left in the regular season. BYU predicted to win 4 of those 5. The one is Gonzaga, who's the number 2 team in the country, at least in the coaches poll or the AP poll. Yet you have that as a 2-point game, and BYU with a 43% chance to win. Why do you think that game's going to be close in Provo?
Well, I think we can start with the fact that the game is in Provo. That's a big plus. It's a really exciting matchup. Both of these teams, Gonzaga is really similar to BYU in terms of like the makeup of the team statistically. They're just better at just about everything, as you might imagine. Gonzaga's offense is ranked 1st in the country. Their defense is 33rd. So like BYU, they're driven by their offense. Their offense is better. Their defense is a little better. They're the rare offense that does everything well. So, we talk about BYU basically just depending on shooting and not committing turnovers. Well, Gonzaga does that, but they also get offensive rebounds. They have a really big front line as usual. They draw a bunch of fouls. And so they're a handful. But, yeah, playing in Provo I think is the big equalizer. Obviously, having Yoli Child this time around is a big help as well. I mean, those two factors are enormous. And I think the one difference between these two teams is the 3-point shooting. Gonzaga is a good 3-point shooting team. They just don't take a lot of threes because their lineup is a little more traditional in terms of playing a couple of bigs on the court. BYU, obviously, a high-volume three-point shooting team, and whenever you have that, there's the chance to have a really good offensive night. And so it's good. I think it's going to be a really fun game. Up-tempo game. Gonzaga plays really up-tempo. Should be a high-scoring, should be a close affair with a lot of point scores. I'm really looking forward to it.
Ken, I'm putting on the blue goggles when I ask this question, but let's go there. How would a hypothetical win over Gonzaga impact BYU's standings in your rankings?
Yeah, it just depends on how the game plays out. I mean, so we just established that I'm anticipating a close game. So I think that's one thing to keep in mind is that if it is a close game, then there wouldn't be much change in the ratings. Home court advantage matters, and if BYU is to win a 2-point game, they might get a small bump. But, again, it wouldn't be a huge surprise, at least in my system. If they won the game the way Gonzaga won the game in Spokane, then it's a different story, and, you could see BYU move up into the top 10 or so. I mean, these teams are pretty bunched up, once you get past really the top 4 teams, top 5 teams in the country, things get bunched up from 6 through 20. So depending on whether that holds or not, a dominant win can really kind of propel you up the rankings maybe a bit more significantly than you might think.
With the numbers, who sticks out individually, Ken?
For the Cougars, well, certainly Yoeli Childs, I think his impact, when you look at the numbers, his impact, obviously scores a lot. He's a great rebounder, but when you break down kind of the advanced stats, his usage, what we call his usage, is really high. So he's the guy that, ends up with the ball in his hand at the end of the possession way more often than any other Cougar. And he's been, pretty efficient in that role, but just the fact that he has the ball so often and they trust him so much really just opens things up for the guys on the perimeter. And so I think if you're talking about, who is the most important Cougar, it would be Yoeli from that standpoint. I mean, you don't need the advanced stats, I guess, necessarily to back it up, but, you just look at obviously what they've done without him on the floor and with him on the floor. And, you just look at the record and you get that impression. But it really, the guys on the perimeter, I think, have to really appreciate the fact that opposing defenses have to figure out, are we going to deal with Yoeli or not? If they don't, then he has a big day. And if they do, then the shooters get a lot more open shots. And that's a big reason why BYU, shot the ball so well from 3-point range.
Ken, you've seen BYU play in person a couple of times this year. How would you explain them to somebody that hasn't seen them?
They're a really fun team to watch, certainly from the offensive standpoint. The offense is just really dynamic with, usually 3 guys on the floor that can handle the ball like a point guard pretty much and can all shoot it at an elite level. So when you start with that, you're just going to have a good offense regardless of who else is on the floor. But then, you throw in a guy like Childs who is a really interesting player from the standpoint that he may not be the most vertical player, the most bouncy player, I guess. But, he's very good at finishing around the rim. He's just got a number of tricks. He's very skilled in terms of getting the ball to the rim and has a nice touch. And so offensively, it's a very fun team to watch. And, as we pointed out, defensively, a little more limited, but it's a team that can clearly go pretty far just with his offense alone.
BYU's played 3 of the top 4 teams in the country in net. That lines up with your rankings as well. And Kansas, Gonzaga, and San Diego State. BYU 0 for 3 in those games. They'll get a shot at Gonzaga. Do you have an opinion outside of your numbers? Do you think Kansas is the best team because your numbers say that, or do you also think that?
I do also think that. Yeah, there's not really who would be that challenger, I guess? You could maybe throw San Diego State in there or Baylor, and those are worthy challengers. Duke, I think, would be in that mix, but Kansas just seems to be like a step ahead right now. 10-1 in the Big 12, which is still maybe not as good of a conference as we've seen the last 3 or 4 years, but still a really good conference. I have it ranked second in the country among conferences. So a 10-1 mark, which includes 2 wins over West Virginia, is pretty impressive. Just the road loss to Baylor so far, and their other 2 losses are a 1-point road loss to Villanova, and then the season opener, a 2-point loss against Duke on a neutral floor. So the resume is as good as you'll see. And I just think the way they're playing in the Big 12 play is about as good as we've seen this year as well. It's just a team that depends on its defense a little bit more. They play at a slow pace. So it's really an ugly brand of basketball. It's not something that's appealing to the eye, but the results are pretty good, fellas. So I don't think the fans mind too much.
Yeah, not quite like the enjoyment of watching BYU play, that's for sure. Ken, how's the website traction during this February frenzy of college basketball?
It's pretty good. I can't complain at all about that. It's people are interested in my work for usually, maybe not complimentary all the time, but they are interested. And so bad publicity is publicity, I guess. No, I don't know. It's always gone well. I'm always thankful for the fact that people do care about my work. That's more than I could ever imagine when I started the site. So it's pretty cool this time of year to see how many people are interested in it.
KenPom.com if you want to get in on that and go next level. Great to talk to you, my friend.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Ken Pomeroy on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why we show